Now we're live.
We are.
You only have a specific amount of time when you go to live stream before it errors out and you have to retype your description again.
Okay.
And Katie was telling me a story and I was like, I gotta hit the button.
You sure did. I wasn't ready for that, but here we are.
Here we are. We're live on our chic Facebook page.
Yeah.
We're looking all glam today because behind the scenes right over there is Chloe and she is taking some pictures
She
of
was
us
like,
today.
you guys need some new photos. Slap on some makeup. And I was like, all right.
So here we go. Here we are. And I want to actually pull you in because you're like a little out of the frame and you know how much there we go. We are good.
Are we
my gosh. We're good. We're good to go. So did you guys see the title of today's live? We're gonna talk to you guys about, oh God, the real truth of what people say on social. And I think I guess let's give them some context to where this all, like, how did this all come about?
So if you listen to the Make Chic Happen podcast today, actually the episode aired where I actually walk people through how a post went viral.
Yeah.
And so I've had a couple of posts do incredibly well, but what happens when all of these things you get this like influx of new followers, you also get a crazy amount of criticism too.
Oh gosh. Yes.
And
it's like the haters come out.
I feel like for the past couple of weeks, I've been virtually getting punched in the face by a lot of people,
which is hard because it's just like getting punched in the face in real life. Like it is still hurts, even if it's behind a computer screen.
Right. But building a business on social media, you actually open yourself up to criticism, especially when you are posting about things that stir up insecurity or things that people don't agree on. It's very much like, even when you post about politics, sometimes you open that door to receive that. And so Melanie and I were talking on the driveway yesterday or 2 days ago. We were getting ready to work. And she goes, when you're getting ready to build a business, do you really ever take that into consideration? Like, do you ever really say to yourself, like, I have that strength to actually endure not just like the growth period of my business, but also, and the sustainability of it too, but also to be willing to keep going even when people criticize you along the way.
Yes. And it's like, you want the growth. You want the massive explosion. Everybody wants the followers, the likes, the shares, the revenue coming in. You want to see that. But with that comes a new can of worms, right? You're literally opening up. And sometimes we're not prepared for that. And so I feel like sometimes this is like God's perfect timing, like God's way of saying, hey, I want you to grow slow because I actually need to groom you in the process.
Yeah.
Like I actually need to teach you how to handle criticism.
Yeah.
I actually need to prepare you with giving you roadblocks and obstacles because it's going to hurt really bad when you get that person that when you finally get the courage, because how many of you also are afraid to put yourselves out there because you are afraid to be vulnerable. So you hold back for so long. And when you do actually put yourself out there and you get that criticism, how are you going to handle that?
Yeah.
And we don't say it to scare you, but I also believe that it's like when you have a baby and it's like you go through 9 months of being pregnant and nobody wants to actually tell you what childbirth is really like, right? But don't you want to write that book about this is what it's really like to have a baby?
Yeah.
It's like, we want to be those people that are like, this is what it's really like when you go viral. Hey, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and let's kind of talk about what people might say to you. And let's actually arm you with what to do with it when it happens, because we don't want you to shut down and lose your business or stop doing what you're called to do. Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that I just kind of want to address along those lines.
Yeah.
It isn't just putting yourself out there. It is also opening the doors to be perceived as somebody who is an expert or somebody who is going through that thing that they're posting about. So in my particular case, not only was it criticism, but then my account got hacked yesterday. So I noticed that somebody actually took my identity and then they created a fake account from that as well. So there are those trials too that go along with it, but you also have to be willing to say, do I really believe in what I am sharing?
Yep.
And so on the day that the post really took off and it was picked up by a couple of publishers, I had a really good friend text me and go, I just saw the comment. Like she had been sort of seeing this on the page it was published on, or republished on, and she said, I just saw the comment. hold 1 second. And she went in and she commented back.
Oh.
And I made the conscious choice not to try to defend myself on that platform, but to keep showing up for myself in what I believe in on my own platform.
Yeah.
And I knew that that's not the place where I want to defend myself, but where I feel really called to share my beliefs is on my own platform. So if people choose not to share those same beliefs, I'm still going to hold firm to it.
Yes.
And even in the podcast that I talk about, it's not just the post. It was 8 years of that grit and believing in what I was sharing and taking that piece of content. That's 8 years of experience that's surfacing. That's not just 8 years of just that belief. It's also the personal experiences that I've had, the struggles that I have been through. And personally, it was about body image. So it was really about talking about things that have happened to me and creating it as a, like, this has happened for me type of post. So when you're creating content, I think the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is when you believe in what you are talking about, and the post doesn't take off the way that you want it to, you have a choice to say, nah, it wasn't that good. Maybe I'm not really good at this. Or you can say, how can I make this better?
Yeah.
And what most people don't realize is that when you see a really great piece of content that takes off, a lot of times it's a reflection of experiences and other posts that did okay, or not even that great. It's just rewording and retweaking. And if you are an entrepreneur, one of the things that you have to be is super curious. You have to be curious about, how can I get better? It's not about being beaten when things go wrong or when things don't go the way that you plan. It's about, okay, how can I take this experience and learn from it? How can I get better from it? How can I make my words resonate a little bit more? How can I take the comments and engagement that I'm getting on a piece of content and actually take those questions or those ideas, and how can I turn it into hope for other people? And that's exactly what we do at Chic Influencer. And even when I, was recording the podcast, it was a Saturday, and I was like, I don't care about going viral. I want other people to know this is what it's going to take. And also when it does take off, you're going to be criticized for it, and somebody's going to put you down, and somebody's going to have an opinion, and someone's going to say something about you. Are you still going to get back up? Are you the next day going to post something that resonates again? Are you going to add value to your audience, not just in that post, but in the posts that come? Are you going to be okay when the next post you do doesn't do that well? Are you going to be okay with those things? Because if you are, you have that grit and that understanding that it really takes to build a business on social media. And that's the get back up factor.
And most people don't stop themselves to kind of bring that to the light, right? Like, you have to become aware of your habit. So if somebody gives you negative feedback and your gut reaction is shut down, and I mean, like, shut down, don't even post again for another week, go into that downward spiral of, I'm not good enough. I'm not, maybe this really isn't my gift. Maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. If you don't even recognize that you're doing that, right? That's really the first step, is that level of awareness. And you got to become aware of, when I get negative feedback or input, how do I handle it, right? And the second thing is, how do I push through it instead? So in Katy's case, it was having a conversation with friends. It was, even just with the person you talked to that saw the piece. With us, you sent us a voice message. We talked it through. We go back to what we've learned. We read this book by Brene Brown, Dare to Lead. We love it. We talk about all the time that, and you'll find this as you go through business, is that people are willing to hurl insults and criticism at you all the time. And the one thing you have to be able to do is say, is the person in the arena with me? Is the person that's hurling insults in the arena with me getting their ass kicked? Like, are they business owners? Are they influencers? Are they content creators who are also in the arena doing what we do? Okay, maybe I'll like listen a little bit and pull some pieces from what they say. But if it's somebody sitting up there in the cheap seats, somebody that's just like hiding behind a screen, you have got to be able to say, it has nothing to do with me, and the insult they're hurling is something that they're working through, and I just happen to be the punching bag.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to have that level of awareness to say it has nothing to do with me. And I feel like that is kind of the way you're like, it hurts, it stings, I'm human, I'm a real person, but it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You know?
So I just noticed too, there was a comment that came in that I was looking at, and I noticed Ashley said something. I was just told yesterday that I wouldn't be successful. I was just told by someone. So you have to consider the source, and just complete disclosure. I was once told a couple years ago, in the midst of like growing my business and starting this shift and starting to like rebrand myself. And this was post cancer, when I was like really going through an incredibly hard time. A woman actually said, "You are the laughing stock of the community." And it was by far, to this day, one of the greatest insults that I've ever received. And it paralyzed me for a little while. And I remember thinking, community, like, this is close to home. Like, this actually really hurts. And thinking, if I go to my son's school, are they laughing at me behind my back? Are they, are they saying things about me? Am I even welcome in this community? And what you have to do is you have to remind yourself, like, who is in this with you? Like, who is in the arena with you? And it's not the critic who counts. But it's okay to say, like, I understand that hurt people hurt people. Yeah. So if I understand that, I know that it's not about me. Their insults and their lack of confidence, or their need to say things in a negative manner, are not about me. Yeah. This 8 years of creating a piece of content that did really well is just a reflection of 8 years of becoming the person that I am working to be like good enough for, right? It isn't just about that day, that one post. It is a reflection of the beliefs that you hold dear and the person that you steer to become, like the direction that you want to go in. So for those of you who are looking at one piece of content that did really well, if you are looking for the how do you do it, you have got to keep writing. You have got to put effort into it, and you have to be willing to say, that post that didn't do so well, if there is a truth in it that I believe in it, I am going to take this and I'm going to figure out how to do it. And I'm going to learn from people who are a couple steps, not a million steps ahead of me, but 1 or 2 steps ahead of me, so that I can become better at it. I can become better in my words, and I'm going to stand firm on what I believe, whether there are people out there who are going to call me the laughing stock of the community or not. Right. Because it is not the critic who counts. It really is those people who are in the arena getting their ass kicked right alongside you. Yep. That's how you make an impact, is willing to get your ass kicked a little bit and willing to be knocked down and then like Chumbawamba it and get back up again. Do you guys remember that song?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Like, you have to Chumbawamba it. Like, all right, I get knocked down, I'm going to get back up again. Yep. So you guys.
And can I add to that too, before we move on, is sometimes the people that are hurling the insults or the criticism are your loved ones. They just are. And sometimes it really comes from a lack of understanding of what you're doing too. And so I think sometimes we have to really, this is where we're required to be super grounded in what we want. Yeah. And we have to have that belief in where we're going. And I look at that, like, I look at the way Matt was when my business, like, he is my spouse. He is my best friend. And he was telling me I was going to fail at what I was doing, but I so believed in my mission that I wasn't willing to let myself get knocked down. I got back up again.
Yeah. So guys, I hope you know that, like, our goal at Chic is to take all of these years that we've like experienced, like those setbacks and those insults and those whatever, and we have figured things out, but we're still learning. We're still figuring it out. But we want 100%. You to know, if you want something, keep freaking working at it. Yeah. Just figure it out. Everything you want is figure outable. And I think it was Marie Forleo who said that, but it's figure outable. So just take it one day at a time. And if somebody's opinions like really do actually hurt you, this is the last piece of like kind of personal advice. Here's what I suggest you do. Write a letter. Yeah. Write a letter, and you just write out exactly what hurt you, exactly how you feel. And then you have a choice. You can send them the letter, or you can actually just get it out into the universe so it's out there and you can move forward from it. Personally, I wrote the letter, but I never gave it to her. And I'm okay with that because I just needed to get it out so that I can move forward.
Right. All right, you guys. It's always going to happen. Doesn't matter how big, how small your company is, your brand is. This is part of life. We learn to navigate it, and we're here to help you through it. So you guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Go listen to the Make Chic Happen podcast today. Listen to Katy's episode. It was amazing. We hope to see you guys around in the Chic Influencer community.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.